Radovich of the Des Moines Register. As those who watched the first hour know, our topic
all
is
liberals,
Wall Street. For those just joining us,
including him, CBS this morning.
Secretary Clinton. I went to the past there for a moment. Senator Sanders recently said, quote, people should be suspect of candidates who receive large sums of money from Wall Street and then go out and say, trust me, I'm going to really regulate Wall Street. So if you receive millions of dollars in contributions and speaking fees from Wall Street companies, how do you convince voters that you're going to level the playing field when you're indebted to some of its biggest players?
Ooh.
Well, I think it's pretty clear that they know that I will. You've got two billionaire hedge fund managers who started a super PAC, and they're advertising against me in Iowa as we speak. So they clearly think I'm going to do what I say I will do, and you can look at what I did in the Senate. I did introduce legislation.
Too close to Wall Street. This is one of the biggest issues destroying our country.
Would have more control over what was going on in that arena, and specifically,
there's a lobbyist buyout
that what they were
in
doing
progress.
In the mortgage market was bringing our country down.
She's going to get so rich.
Aggressive plan to rein in Wall Street, not just the big banks. That's a part of the problem, and I am going right at them. I've got a comprehensive, tough plan. But I went further than that. We have to go after what's called the shadow banking industry, those hedge funds. Look at what happened in 2008. AIG, a big insurance company, Lehman Brothers, an investment bank, helped to bring our economy down. So I want to look at the whole problem, and that's why my proposal is much more comprehensive than anything else that's been put forth.
Senator Sanders, you've said that the donations to Secretary Clinton are compromising. So what do you think of her answer?
Not good enough. Here's the story. I mean, let's not be naive about it. Why over her political career has Wall Street been the major campaign contributor to Hillary Clinton? Now, maybe they're dumb and they don't know what they're going to get, but I don't think so. Here is the major issue when we talk about Wall Street. It ain't complicated. You got 6 financial institutions today that have assets of 56%, equivalent to 56% of the GDP in America. They issue 2/3 of the credit cards and 1/3 of the mortgages. If Teddy Roosevelt, a good Republican,
and if they're running our country, we're in trouble.
Reestablished Glass-Steagall, and Teddy Roosevelt was right. That is the issue. Now, I am the only candidate up here that doesn't have a super PAC. I'm not asking Wall Street or the billionaires for money. I will break up these banks, support community banks and credit unions. That's the future of banking in America.
Quick follow-up, because you and Secretary Clinton, you'll get a chance to respond. You said they know what they're going to get. What are they going to get?
I have never heard a candidate, who has received huge amounts of money from oil, from coal, from Wall Street, from the military-industrial complex.
That did something good for the people with it.
This campaign contribution will not influence me. I'm going to be independent. Well, why do they make millions of dollars of campaign contributions? They expect to get something. Everybody knows that. Once again, I am running a campaign differently than any other candidate. We are relying on small campaign donors, $750,000 and $30 a piece. That's what I'm getting.
John, wait a minute.
Personal privilege.
Basically, used his answer to impugn my integrity. Let's be frank here. Oh, wait a minute, Senator. Not only do I have hundreds of thousands of donors, most of them small, and I'm very proud that for the first time, a majority of my donors are women, 60%. I represented New York, and I represented New York on 9/11. When we were attacked, where were we attacked? We were attacked in downtown Manhattan, where Wall Street is. I did spend a whole lot of time and effort helping them rebuild. That was good for New York. It was.
You guys don't want to know what I think about that.
Rebuke the terrorists who had attacked our country. So, it's fine for you to say what you're going to say, but I look very carefully at your proposal. Reinstating Glass-Steagall is a part of what very well could help, but it is nowhere near enough. My proposal is tougher, more effective, and more comprehensive, because I go after all of Wall Street, not just the big banks.
John, please.
All of her statements are broad, too, with no detail.
John, he was attacked.
I'll do all of this. I'll do all of that.
It's not just Wall Street.
But you're not talking about anything.
A corrupt campaign finance system. And it is easy to talk the talk about
What you're gonna do.
Citizens United. But what I think we need to do is show by example that we are prepared to not rely on large corporations and Wall Street for campaign contributions, and that's what I'm doing. In terms of Wall Street, I respectfully disagree
destroying
with the
us.
Secretary in the sense that the issue here is when you have such incredible power and such incredible wealth, when you have Wall Street spending $5 billion over a 10-year period to get deregulated, the only answer that I know is break them up, reestablish.
I agree.
Senator, we have to get Governor Malian. Governor, along with your answer, how many Wall Street
That's called monopoly.
in your administration?
Well, I'll tell you what, I've said this before. I believe that we actually need some new economic
You win, I'll put the money
in
back.
The White House. And I would not have Robert Rubin or Larry Summers, with all due respect, Secretary Clinton, to you and to them, back on my Council of Economic Advisors.
Anyone from
They
Wall
were the architects. Sure, we'll have an inclusive group, but I won't be taking my orders from Wall Street. And look, let me say this. I put out a proposal. I was on the front lines when people lost their homes, when people lost their jobs. I was on the front lines as a governor, fighting that battle. Our economy was wrecked by the big banks of Wall Street. And Secretary Clinton, when you put out your proposal on Wall Street, it was greeted by many as quote unquote weak tea. It is weak tea. It is not what the people expect of our country. We expect that our president will protect the Main Street economy from excesses on Wall Street, and that's why Bernie's
Yes.
right. We need to reinstate a modern version of Glass-Steagall, and we should have done it already.
Yes.
Well, you know, Governor, I know that when you had a chance to appoint a commissioner for financial regulation, you chose an investment banker in 2010. So for me, it is looking at what works and what we need to do to try to move past what happened in 08. And I will go back and say again, AIG was not a big bank. It had to be bailed out, and it nearly destroyed us. Lehman Brothers was not a big bank. It was an investment bank, and its bankruptcy and its failure nearly destroyed us. So I've said, if the big banks don't play by the rules, I will break them up. And I will also go after executives who are responsible for the decisions that have such bad consequences for our country.
Look, I don't know, in all due respect to the Secretary, Wall Street play by the rules. Who are we kidding? The business model of Wall Street is fraud. That's what it is.
Yeah.
And we
Yeah. The business model, we know that. We all know that.
All Americans understand this. Is whether it's
All the money's going to eventually end up at the top. That's the rules.
We have seen Wall Street and Goldman Sachs dominate administrations. Here's my promise. Wall Street representatives will not be in my cabinet.
I want to switch to the issue of guns here. Secretary Clinton, you said that Senator Sanders is not tough enough on guns, but basically he now supports roughly